good morning and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. So today what I wanted to talk about was just dreams and heroes. I remember it was about 26 years ago. I was 16 years old in high school. And a friend of mine in class gave me a Mad magazine. Whoa, this is heavy. Sorry. That's what happens. Gave me a Mad magazine. And I remember looking through it and it just kind of blew me away. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I'm not gonna edit this out. Mort Drucker, this guy right here. Mort Drucker from Mad Magazine. Jack Davis from Mad Magazine. These guys, I saw their work in Mad Magazine and it just blew me away. I mean, I was always drawing. I loved drawing. I was drawing for my high school newspaper. I was doing all that. But once I saw Mad Magazine, that was just like it. It's just like, oh my God. It's at that moment I found out I didn't know what my journey would be, but I sort of found out what I wanted to do now in my life. And, from there I was just always drawing and started just copying Mad Magazine. And eventually that led to me doing caricatures. And what I realized, life is so much about you're going to go through so many experiences, but it's about the connections and the people that you meet. And when you have that desire, when you have that real willpower just to do something, this is where I believe those dreams come true. You end up meeting people. Like, I remember my first meeting, and I'm going to share this with you. I heard that Mort Drucker was going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was just ballistic. I just couldn't believe it. And so right here, I'm not sure what year this was. I must have still been just after high school. No, it was after high school. There he is. I met Mort Drucker for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con, and that's where it sort of like all began for me too. I just knew that this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do in life. And as things happened, and you guys have heard my story or my journey of just going through the caricatures and getting into animation, was such a want and will within my mind. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't understand what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. All I knew was that these guys right here, they were the top of the food chain in my eyes. And I knew that I had to improve upon my skill. I knew I had to keep getting better. And so when I met Mort Drucker, and he was the most beautiful, loving, humble man I've ever met in my life, and I say, that's a real artist right there, this guy. And I got a chance to talk to him, and I showed him my work, and I just remember him telling me, just work on your drawings, learn how to draw the human figure. And that's what really started me learning how to draw the human figure, and started to get into that. And then I started writing him. And he would write back, and I'm going to read to you just some of the letters that he wrote that I have all framed, inside here, the letters that, he wrote back to me in this frame, and even with his thing right here, because this to me is treasure. And he wrote, Dear Stephen, please excuse the delay. Barbara and I were on holiday in England for 3 weeks. Your caricatures are well done. I would suggest you climb the next hill by improving your figure drawing. This will enhance your heads, and more important, will open up your potential to do other work and give and give you many more opportunities in advertising, book illustration, etc. He didn't mention animation. You will become a more rounded artist. You will also delight in seeing growth in your work. wow, I would be so emotional. When you see improvement, work up a portfolio and consider securing an artist rep or placing an ad in a workbook. Keep in touch. Good luck with affection, Mort Drucker. And then he wrote again another time, Dear Stephen, I received your kind letter and your sketches, Stephen, are not that far away. Your drawings are quite wonderful. Don't tighten up. Relax and allow your knowledge and instincts to be involved. Continue to do quick sketching with pen. Don't be concerned how they come out right now. By doing it, we train your eye to observe, and that's what I practice. I practice that all the time with pen, just not relying on pencil and just erasing. Also build a file of photos, this before the internet, of other artists' work and study them. And artists of the day used to have a morgue where they would keep all these photos in there for reference whenever they needed. They didn't have the beauty of the internet. Observe how they do, the figure, the hands, hair, etc. Even he was telling me, observe other artists, learn from other artists, mimic other artists, and it's one of the things that I've followed my whole life and encourage my students to do, because you have to, mimicry is so important, and I learned that from Mort. Believe me, there is no magic. It really is work and practice. Save the work you have done, and soon you will see your improvement by comparison. Another thing, the importance of not just drawing a loose leaf, but making sure you keep a sketchbook and have a sketchbook so that you always can follow your journey and you can look back and you can see your own improvement, because so many times we don't even know that we're improving. We don't see it. It's like when you have a dog or a kid and you watch them as puppies and they just get bigger and you don't really notice the change. But when if other people, they come, oh my God, your dog's so big, and oh wow, I didn't even see them grow. So you don't even see your own animals, your own kids grow, and that's the same thing that happens with art. You are growing as long as you keep working at it and you keep nurturing yourself like you would, keep drinking water and keep eating to grow. You got to keep doing that as an artist, right? Just to make sure that you're growing through there too. So don't get hung up on muscles. Just posture and pay attention to folds in clothing. And it's so funny, when I'm reading this, I just think about that God, where did that sort of come from, that I didn't want to get so caught up in the muscles and learning anatomy so much, and realize Mort was doing the sort of cartooning that I wanted to do in life. He had, and Jack Davis, and they were doing these, so much feeling and emotion and energy and life and caricature in their drawings, and it was there. And he just talked about, well, you don't need to know the muscles for that. You just need to know how to, draw, how the body moves and how things attach and all that. So knowing what it is you want to do, what's your ultimate intention for your art, is what's going to veer you towards, maybe if you want to really study anatomy to that sense. And when I did try to learn anatomy, it stiffened me up so much, and that's why I stopped doing it, because I got so stiff with it. The body moves in arms, legs, drapery. Try to approach this learning time as fun and exciting. That's what it is. As you're learning, every day you will sketch and observe. You will improve, and that's absolutely right. You every day you got to sketch, observe. So even if you're not drawing, at least observe people. I've talked about that in previous art talks. Give yourself the time. In the long run, it will pay you back with fulfillment. I did not see the caricature of me unless it was the bull in the barber chair. And that was funny. I had sent a picture of Mort. I can't even remember what I did, but put a character in there. The dreams of meeting Mort Drucker, the dreams of meeting Jack Davis, and knowing that Mad Magazine was it for me, and not knowing just how things happen. And that's the bottom line. You don't know. Sometimes things take a really long time. So that was 27 years ago when I found and discovered Mad Magazine. So in a sense, I had the honor and privilege to, after all these years, 27 years of being asked, getting an email to draw. In this issue of Mad Magazine, in the Fundalini pages, right down here, I did this drawing. And getting that email to, after all these years, hey, the time has come. I've had your Game of Thrones artwork hanging on my wall for over a year now. He said, just thinking of where I can place you in the magazine. And when they were in the meeting and they were thinking they had this, George R.R. Martin, and that they needed to do this George R.R. Martin spoof, and they were wondering, who shall we use to do this? And they looked up on the wall and looking at the drawing, and this is the story that I was told, and just said, what about this guy? And say, perfect, and that's when I got the email, and I was terrified and I was scared. When I got that email, it was just like, just to be in Mad Magazine, where my heroes, where it truly all began for me, to have that opportunity was one of the scariest moments in my life. And it sounds weird to say, but it was scary as hell. Like, what if I don't come through? What if? And I started to do that, and then all of a sudden I just kind of put myself in check and realized, you can't let those sort of moments enter, but you got to realize them. You got to be aware of them. That way it doesn't take over, and all of a sudden you don't go into this depression or this crazy thought. You just got to make that decision. What's going on in my mind? Why am I thinking these crazy thoughts? Okay, it's not real. Boom. And that's what made me say, absolutely. And having this opportunity after all these years, that dreams, no matter not knowing, we never know the outcome. We don't know how things are going to happen, who we're going to meet. I mean, the fact that I got to have a meal and drink a beer with this man who bought me a Heineken beer. He bought me a Heineken beer and gave me a Heineken beer at a bar that I stood with him, and the conversations that I had, and went to his house, and then just built up. And I said, hey, Mort, and trying things, and you don't know how things can happen. And I remember sitting there with him and just thought, God, how cool would it be to do a documentary on Mort Drucker? I've never seen anything. And just to have that mindset and say to him, hey, Mort, can I film you? Can I make a documentary on you? And for him just to say yes. And because I just asked, what if I didn't ask? What if that didn't happen? So here, this beautiful friendship came, and I got to go to his house with my twin brother, and I filmed him. I was there for a week, and I filmed him every day and went through all his work. And I've got the documentary that I made on my Silver Drawing Academy website under, I believe it's under like the workshops up there, just streaming videos. And I went there and filmed him and got so personal with him, and it was a series that I wanted to do, but it was just the most unbelievable experience that I have in my life. My hero, the guy that started out for me, now I'm in this guy's house and I'm filming a documentary and filming all his work, and just to me, just surreal. But the connection, and I think in the back of my mind, it was that want and it was that desire. This can sound horrible, but I used to dream, and I used to talk about it with my friends. I wanted to kidnap Jack Davis and Mort Drucker and kidnap them and tie them up and bring them to my house and shove them in my closet and ask them all their secrets and ask them how they do things, and that was this weird, thing, and I never did it. I never acted on it. And then I just got to meet them and go through that journey. And it was just, and knowing that things can happen. Things can happen. And it does, you can meet your heroes. And you can obtain your dreams. You can obtain those dreams. Keep them in your mind. Nurture them in your heart. Believe that someday, right now may not be the right timing for you. That's fine. It's not the right time. It's not supposed to happen. Hey, 27 years later, I'm in a magazine that started it for me also. What a great journey. What a great journey. Not knowing that, you got this life, and if you're on this planet, and you're lucky enough to live till you're 90, 100 years old, enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen this month. Just enjoy whatever comes your way at that moment and just embrace it and just know that this isn't just the end result. Wherever you are right now, it's not the end result. It's not. It's one bridge across the many bridges you got to cross throughout life, and that's what you do. That's what you do. Just keep driving. Just keep going far enough to where you keep making it over those bridges. You don't have to stop at the bridge. You just don't. You just keep going and keep those things deep and precious to you, and someday it'll happen for you. All right. So man, this is an emotional one for me. And I'm not editing it because it's the truth. It's the truth, and I want to share the truth. And it's my experience with you guys. And I appreciate you guys watching. I know how much these mean to you, and that's why I keep doing it. And keep that dream alive. All right. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey. All right, so you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks.
Whoa! Hey! Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go.